What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 3, Episode 10. This is the Average Man's Perspective on Football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us.
Next up is Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
And last up, resident veteran on the show. We just like to wish him a happy Veterans Day. Herman.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you,
Veterans
Herman.
Day.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube, even though YouTube is out right now. That's probably why we ain't got no comments in the comment section. Also, check us out on Twitter at the Live Game 3. Check us out on Facebook and our Facebook group, The Live Game. Also, check us out on Instagram at the official The Lay of Game. Go ahead, Herman. Get us started. He's hosting tonight. Get us started, Herman.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching the show tonight. And like Marcus said, I want to send a shout out to all my fellow veterans out there. Thank you guys for your service. We appreciate you making the sacrifices that you did. All right. So let's get into the show, fellas. We're going to go over some NFL news. Of course, we have to talk on COVID every week. Then we'll hit our hot topics. We'll go into our review of last week's games. We'll start. We'll pick this week's games, and we will have our final thoughts after that. So, here's your COVID rundown for the week. That's it. 49ers wide receiver Kendrick Bourne tested positive for COVID, and the NFL is actually investigating if he violated some of the league protocols, which may have been the reason why he got COVID. NFL is trying to crack down on teams still. The Raiders were fined, and this is their second go round with this. The Raiders were fined $500,000, and they actually lost a 6th-round draft pick. And then Gruden was fined $150,000, and these were all for COVID-19 violations. So that I think that takes Gruden's total to $250,000 now.
And this is the second time the team.
Yeah.
The second time, it's
and that's like $750 total for the team. I think they're not learning.
They're not even going to win the Super Bowl. I got to stand you trying to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Super Bowl.
So the Raiders right tackle Trent Brown was placed back on the COVID list due to complications, and he was still dealing with and recovering. Now, if y'all remember, Brown was also the player who had the IV mishap and wound up having to go to the hospital. So I guess they was trying to give him an IV. He was still having complications with COVID. That's how he wound up with the IV and the blood, the air in his blood. So that was crazy. The Chiefs had to put defensive tackle Chris Jones on the COVID list. He didn't test positive, but he did have close contact to someone who had tested positive. The Cleveland Browns also put Baker Mayfield on the COVID list. Again, another person who had close contact with somebody who did not test positive. So it seems like the NFL now, their protocol is if you have continued negative testing, even though you were close contact to somebody, you usually wind up playing that Sunday. The Steelers placed 3 players on the COVID list, and one of those players was actually Ben Roethlisberger. And again, he was placed on the list due to close contact with someone who had COVID. So that is pretty much our COVID update for the week. Got very long this week. So 2 other things in the news. The NFL owners approved a 16-team playoff if COVID starts to spread too bad and they have to cancel the season. It was brought up to the competition committee, and the competition committee took it to the ownership, and ownership passed this earlier this week. Also, one other thing that came out with the NFL, and we can discuss this one a little bit just real quick, you guys. NFL owners approved teams receiving 2 third-round comp picks for a team that develops a minority executive or coaching candidate that gets hired by another team. So, for instance, like the Chiefs. Let's say that the Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, how do you say his name? He gets hired by somebody else for the head coaching position. So the Chiefs will be in line for 2 third-round comp picks in the draft. And then the same thing would go for executives. Like if you had a player personnel person, minority person, they wind up getting a higher job or a GM job at another team. That team would get picks too. What do you guys think about that?
What exactly is a comp pick? I'm not.
Third round. So you get another third round pick. You know how they give the compensation picks like for when you lose players in free agency.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so you just get another third. You get a 2 additional third rounders. Now, I didn't get all the details on this. I don't think it's probably not in the same year. I think that would make it probably a little bit disadvantaged, but maybe I don't know. We think on that. Just real quick.
Well, my first thing is it should be a first round pick. That way, every team probably will hire an executive or a coach. And if it's a coach, they got to be there for more than one season. You can't just hire the coach, get you a pick, and
I don't know about all that part of it, but I guess maybe we'll do a little bit more research. I just saw the headline, so I wanted to throw it in there on the show. But yeah, you're right about that. You can't hire this guy and then 6 games later into the season. Next season, you fire him. Thanks for the pick.
Look, at the beginning of the season, you like the offensive coordinator is the guy you really want.
Right.
You just fire him. Yeah, he sucks.
So I mean, you got. I guess you got to give this. It's a two-way thing. It's like it's messed up that the NFL has to do this to get minorities hired, but the NFL is trying to get minorities hired. So I mean, it's a good old boy system in the NFL. We already know that with how these owners hire people. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, so let's move into our hot topics of the week. We'll kick it off with Pete Carroll getting a 4-year contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks. Good move, bad move? What you guys think? Brian, you kick this one off.
I think it's a very good move. I mean, even though Pete Carroll is in his late 60s, I mean, he's still as spry and young as he's ever been. Ever since he's gotten to the Seahawks have been competitive, if not in the playoffs, knocking on the door. And with Russell Wilson, you just want to keep that whole momentum going. So I think it was a real good job, and it was a nice deal for them, and he deserves it.
Mark, what you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. He's 69. He's already by the time his contract is over with, he'll be the oldest coach that'll be out there. If he finished out his career with them, he'll be like 74. But yeah, he's already the winningest coach for Seattle in history. He has that too. I think it was a great move for him. That team is built pretty much to win or get another championship probably within the next 4 years. So I think, yeah, it was a smart move for him. I agree.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. Like Brian said, they've always been in contention under Pete Carroll. They've won the Super Bowl under him. Why not, lock up now and keep the stability? I think it also helps your offensive coordinators and your defense coordinators, all your assistant coaches, because they know that under him they should get another 4 years. So stability, and they're less likely to jump ship from the team. What you think, Marcus?
I don't really have a problem with it, but I'm going to disagree with y'all a little bit, somewhat. To me, for a team to be successful, it starts first. You must have a great owner, second, a great quarterback, then third, a coach. Pete Carroll's record before he got Russell Wilson was not that great. The 2 years he was in Seattle before he got Russell Wilson, he was 7-9. I attribute his success to Russell Wilson. Once he got Russell Wilson, he started having winning seasons. He went 11-5, 13-3, 12-4, 10-6, 10-5, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, and right now 6-2. Won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. Without Russell Wilson, he is 6-10, including with the Jets. 10-6, he did good with the Patriots. 9-7, 8-8. He was a hell of a good college coach, but I mean, but just looking this year at his defense and how he's allowed it to a trophy, I would say.
I'm sorry, he allowed it to what?
I used the wrong word. Now, don't question me. You just listen to.
I didn't know what a trophy was. I didn't know what that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I probably said it wrong. It's like when your muscles, you use your muscles.
Atrocious?
No. Well,
No.
Okay, yes, it's atrocious. Don't question me.
Atrophy.
Yeah, that's right. I'm about to mute you. You allow the people defense to what you said. So I don't have a problem with it, but let's not give Pete Carroll all that success. That's Russell Wilson's success and great ownership success.
You just said When he just said ownership, great quarterback, and coach. Who was his quarterbacks before Russell Wilson? That's
my point. He's successful because of Russell Wilson.
Well, remember this: the owner brought in another guy from off the free agency. Remember the Tom Flynn or whatever his name was to be the starter. Well, when Russell Wilson came to camp and Pete Carroll saw this man play, he the one who made the move to move him up to the number one quarterback spot.
Great quarterback. So
Carroll gets credit for that, I believe.
Right, exactly. He could have rolled with Matt Flynn because he was the big free agent signing, and Russell Wilson was just so yeah. So
let me ask you this question: you see a good-looking woman walk down the street, you run up there and you talk to her, she become your girlfriend, become your wife. You credit yourself for that beauty, or you give it to her genes and her parents? Okay, that has nothing to do with you just because you picked her.
Yeah, but he had to develop his talent, though. I mean, that's different. You can pick, if you're pretty, you're pretty. But
and you can pick a beautiful woman that's not a good woman. So
yeah. I had to open my mouth to go get her, so I had to make the initiative to go get her.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. He's doing good. As long as he got Russell there, he'd be okay. I mean, all we got to do is look at New England. You see what happened when Tom Brady left. So
yeah, but and then just one other thing. I mean, you're giving a whole lot of credit to Russell in that Super Bowl, but they were called the Legion of Boom for a reason.
Thank you.
I got you.
Thank you.
Well, they the Legion of nothing now.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
The Legion of Doom.
But they're also a totally different team now. I mean, Russ runs that team, but before Russ, I mean, he kind of was pretty much. I mean, he was a good quarterback, but he was really much on the road, just riding on their coattails of that defense. That defense was super.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. We're going to keep on this head coaching thing. Matt Patricia. Should Matt Patricia be the next head coach to get fired? Mark, you can start that one off.
I'm going to say yes. And by chances, it looked like the Washington team has a tendency of getting other people's coaches fired and their coaches fired.
Don't put that on us.
So hold on. If they lose this game against the Washington team, then I think you might see Patricia out of there. He can take. He won't be leaving with no hardware. He be leaving with his pencils. But yeah, man, his record is what was I going over? His record is
10, 25
and 1.
Say it again. Say it one more time.
10, 25 and 1.
It's this man's record.
He is
now Caldwell. Wait, real quick.
Oh yeah.
Caldwell's record was
9-7. Oh, good. Okay.
He made one playoff. And he made one playoff.
And he made two playoffs.
Yeah.
36 and 28.
Okay.
He was 36 and 28 with Detroit. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. But I'm just going back to, I mean, he has not turned his team around. I don't know what he got rid of his starting cornerback, shutdown cornerback Darius Slay. You drafted a cornerback who hasn't really been out there on the field yet, really. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what he's doing. They are handicapped with the contract of Matthew Stafford. If they were to get rid of him, that's $32 million against their cap. So I don't know. He hasn't turned his team around as of yet, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think this is a clear example of the good old boy system. Okay, Matt Patricia has no business being the head coach of Detroit or any team with a 10, 25 and 1 record. What has he done? He has shown no improvement, no nothing. He stands on the sideline, like you said, with a little pencil in his ear, looking crazy. And he hasn't done anything. And you fired the former coach who had a 36 and 28 record and took you to the playoffs twice. And this is what you fired him for. Get out of here, Detroit. That's why they're trash and they'll never be better. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, he like you guys were saying, I mean, he hasn't put his stamp on no part of that offense, defense, or anything on that team. You would think that the defense would have been a lot better because he was the defensive guru for a couple years with New England, but the defense is terrible. The offense is questionable. He has 2 good wide receivers He has a decent running back that he apparently doesn't know how to use because he keeps putting Adrian Peterson in there instead of running with Swift, a younger, faster guy. I mean, he just doesn't have a imprint on this team. You have no idea what this team is. Are you offensively programmed? Are you defensively programmed? You should be offensively programmed with Matt Stafford and all his talent, but you just wasted.
Marcus.
I mean, it just seemed like the Detroit Lions are just a cursed team, much like the Browns, much like the Washington football team, much like the New York Jets. But you're absolutely
You can't
right.
really put the Washington football team in that category.
Well, we haven't been blessed in 20-some years.
Yeah, but the other three you talked about don't have no bowls.
That's true. But it just goes to none of Bill Belichick's proteges have worked out in the NFL, as far as I know. As a head coach,
what's his name is doing pretty good down there in Miami. So
right now,
got him 5-3.
Right now,
Right now.
He's still fairly new. That's still fairly new.
And I mean, your boy. I mean, he never got to the bowl and stuff, but he always had his team in the playoffs.
Who's that?
Houston. Damn, he got fired. I can't remember his name.
O'Brien.
First of all, on this program, we don't give little Brian no credit for nothing.
Yes, we do.
Don't give that dude.
Yeah.
Don't bring up that Bama name up in here trying to give him credit for nothing. The only time Bill O'Brien name is mentioned and discussed. Okay.
I was just saying his record was better than everybody else's. But go ahead.
Well, when they're not really that successful. He got fired, so he ain't successful either. So yeah, I think it's about time. This is what, season 3? He's 6-10, 3-12, and right now 3-5. So, it's. I mean, he was 3-12-1 last year. So it's probably about time. But it's the Lions, and you're probably not gonna be, no matter who you put in there, it's not gonna be much of a an improvement. Might just go ahead and ride him out to the end of the year, and then just fire him then.
Really the. I mean, I know this is off topic, but the best coaching tree. That I can think of was Bill Parcells' coaching tree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about
absolutely? Yeah.
San Francisco's
what's Bill Walsh.
Yeah, Bill Walsh.
Walsh is fully good, but
but some of his tree went to Green Bay. Remember now, right?
Yeah.
So his tree branches out to Green Bay.
And Gruden is part of that Wall Street too, right? He was.
Yeah, because he was with Holmgren.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could, because Andy Reid was on there too. Then I guess
yes, he was. Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We're going to talk about this game, but we put this one in the hot topics because Tom Brady suffered the biggest beatdown of his career, losing to the Saints on Sunday Night Football. We'll let Marcus start this one off since that's his boy.
First of all, Patrick Mahomes is my boy now. Okay.
Oh, you switched up.
Look, he even dumped what's his name in Houston.
Yeah, Deshaun
Watson. He dumped
him to the curb too.
Dumped on him too.
God.
He ain't the prettiest quarterback no more.
Whatever. Deshaun Watson's still one of my favorites. I mean, what's funny is, after the last couple of weeks, everybody's talking about Tampa Bay as the NFC contender for the Super Bowl, and I'm still saying that it's still Seattle, even though their defense is horrible. I'm kind of down them a little bit now, but I mean. It was all just smoke and mirrors. I don't think Tampa Bay is really that good. They're definitely not better than the Saints, of course. So, whatever they do to make the playoffs, you got to. I mean, I guess they won't have to wind up playing the Saints in the playoffs, but right? That's still the Saints division. Drew Brees, even though this might be his last year, he's still the king quarterback in that division, and everybody was just jumping on the bandwagon too soon. You figure, and I ain't gonna lie, when they signed Antonio Brown, I thought he was gonna be a factor. He wasn't a factor at all in that game. I don't think any wide receiver was a factor in that game. I had Tom Brady as my starting quarterback in fantasy, and that damn sure didn't work out for me. It's people get hyped because it's Tom Brady, and I can understand why, but it's not the same coach. What's the dude? What's it?
Arians.
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians is not Bill Belichick. So I didn't expect that big a loss. Matter of fact, I picked him to win, so I didn't expect a loss at all. But like I said, let's hold off for saying that they're going to be the NFC contender Super Bowl. For me, it's still right now Seattle.
Brian.
Yeah, I mean it was a show. I mean, I couldn't believe how badly, and it wasn't just all Tom Brady. The whole offense, the defense. I mean, let the Saints walk up and down the field. I mean, when you're up down 28-0, I mean, what are you supposed to do? But the funniest line of the night was one of the announcers had said that the Buccaneers needed to score 3 because 28-3, halftime. And Tom came back and won the Super Bowl. So I thought that was kind of funny, but I mean, it just was and everybody played bad, but it got to the point where you saw Tom was just flustered. He was rushing the ball. He wasn't comfortable in the pocket, and they never really got the running game going.
No.
And then they have a number 1 defense on close to it coming.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But,
They had a top defense.
When they're on the field the whole time, that means nothing because they're getting no rest.
Yeah.
So, Mark.
Yeah.
This will be Tom Brady's second loss to the Saints this year. This was. It's the first time in his career that he has been swept in the regular season by a divisional opponent. If you include the playoff games, Brady hasn't lost twice in a season to a divisional foe until 1 year against the Jets, and that was in 2010. The Bucs are in trouble, y'all. They're in trouble. Hey man, he got a beat down, and not only that, I think Bruce Arians was a little critical on the press conference on Tom Brady. Also, he didn't cut no cards for him, man. He was harsh on him. I had picked this team to be up there as far as in the runnings for the NFC division. In the NFC, I'm not looking too great with that one right now.
Yeah, like you said, Bruce Arians, he throws Tom Brady under the bus often. Like he walks into the press conference with his bus uniform on, and
job uniform.
Yeah, but I'm sure Brady ain't used to that. But yeah, I mean, I think what we saw too, and we need to give credit to, is the Saints had their full offense on display. And it's the first time we've seen that since week 1. Thomas was back. Sanders was back. They had Kamara, he'd been there. And when Drew Brees has his full complement, we see what he can do. That number 1 defense was on the field too long. And when your number 1 defense is on the field too long, they can only stop you so many times. And your offense isn't producing. Maybe this is karma for them signing AB. This could be the universe kind of messing with you. I'm not counting the Tampa out. I wouldn't count them out. I didn't believe them from the beginning, but after I started seeing some of the games, I did start to feel like, okay, this could be the team to beat. But now I'm looking like, all right, there'll probably be a wild card, and there's still gonna be something to contend with. They're gonna be a hard out in the playoffs, but we'll see.
Do you think he targeted AB? He was talking to AB too much?
I think he forced a few, but it wasn't. I don't think it was overly. I don't think from what I remember.
I think he just didn't have time. He just didn't have time in the pocket.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of time in the pocket. Yeah, and AB's your deep guy, so but he did force a few to him.
I feel like who's this? I forget his name. The young guy, the Saints defensive coordinator. I felt like he watched those 2 Super Bowls to the Giants before.
Everybody does that though. But that's Brady's MO. Is if you get pressure straight up
the middle,
you
can get to him.
Tackles, your defense tackles to get pressure up the middle. It causes him a fit.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to touch on the last topic. We're going to talk about Tua and the Dolphins riding a 4-game win streak. The rookie's out there. He's a rookie. He's going to have the mistakes, but he's doing some things, and their defense is playing real good. Y'all know I've been on Miami's bandwagon from the beginning of the season, so I'm gonna double down on it now. And I don't know how, but they will catch the Bills and win the AFC East like I predicted at the beginning of the season.
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia is about to get lit up. Brian, what you think on Tua and the Dolphins?
Man, Tua, he's getting there. I mean, he was really impressive last Sunday, against the Cardinals. I mean, that game was really fun. I mean, watching him, Kyler Murray move their offenses up and down the field and constantly scoring back and forth. And I just had this feeling that, eventually the Cardinals were going to take the victory and get this one. But, they pulled it out. The Dolphins kicked the field goal and beat them. I think it was 38-35 or something like that. But it was a really entertaining game, and he didn't go overboard. He didn't throw a ton. He wasn't over like 300 yards or anything crazy like that, but he threw enough. He ran enough. The defense did what they had to do, man. And Miami's a fun team to watch.
Marcus?
Before I speak on this topic, I'm looking at the rundown. Did we have a topic that we skip? Speaking of Bills Mafia, Brian,
I took that out. I took that out of the rundown. The host controls the rundown. On my final edits, I made edits.
Okay, well,
and that final edit was probably done today because I could have swore I saw it earlier.
yeah, I could have sworn it was in there too.
Herman, in your defense,
minute.
it wasn't done today. It was done a couple of days ago.
No, it was there.
I think I did it. I think you're right. It was like Monday morning.
Right.
No, but I changed it back.
Yeah, because it was there. It was there.
But anyway, like you guys said, that was a hell of a game. I mean, that was a really fun game to watch. It was great seeing Murray and Tua doing their thing. I gotta give it to Herman. He called this. Miami is looking like they're on the come up. With New England going down, this might not be the Bills division like I thought it was. If Miami still continues to progress like it has, they're definitely going to be a contender. They're looking really good. I just think it says something about today's state of football that the two quarterbacks like that, Murray and Tua, could be so successful. Because I feel like 20 some years ago, especially with the offenses they ran in college, it would not have been successful at all. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that the NFL has picked up a lot of what college is doing. And I think even more is that these quarterbacks and other positions, they're playing very early in life. Like they start like at 6 or 7 and they go into these 7-on-7 games where it's strictly all offense. And there's a lot more quarterback development. Peyton Manning has a camp. I think a couple of other quarterbacks have a camp. And I think you can see it in the success we're having with these quarterbacks in their first years playing. Because, I mean, if you look at Burrow, you look at Herbert, you look at Murray, you look at Tua, it says a whole lot. Like I said, 20 years ago, I don't think they would have been successful in the league. I mean, because back then, quarterbacks coming from the type of offense they ran in college, they weren't good at all. But I think that says a lot about the quarterback development and just player development in general these days.
And it's not just that too. I think it's the offensive coordinators and the teams now. These OCs now, they don't try to fit the quarterback into their system. Smart OCs are fitting their system around their quarterbacks, and that's how they're making it work. And like you said, they're playing early. They're playing earlier in life, and they're playing earlier in their careers now, because they used to have you sit as a rookie 2 years to learn the system. They didn't try to move a system towards your talent.
Mm-hmm.
Mark.
The other thing too is that 20 years ago, those quarterbacks wouldn't even had a chance. They would have not met the height or requirements to be a quarterback.
That's true too.
They're like, you're just not big enough. You should be a running back, or
Yeah, they changed their positions. They changed the defensive back.
Yeah, they would change it.
Yeah, because they had the
wouldn't even got a chance.
Yeah, you had a prototypical 6'2", whatever pounds, pocket passing quarterback. Because that's all the systems were. No offensive coordinator was willing to change a system to fit the talents of a guy who's 5'11", 6 foot, but can run a 4.3 40 or a 4.1 or whatever 40. Yeah,
I mean, the fact that Cliff Kingsbury even got the Arizona job after having losing seasons at Texas Tech tells you how much things have changed. They put a lot of faith in that dude.
Well, yeah, that's because they knew he was losing because of his defenses.
Yeah,
his offenses
and Texas Tech they couldn't recruit like the other, like Oklahoma and Texas do in the division. Yeah.
Mark, you add anything?
Yeah. Tua, man, I'm telling you, they drafted him for the future. He might be the president right now. He didn't, when he started out, he didn't look that great in his first game, but the defense came up huge. The special team played well in his first game. The biggest thing that I saw in this week's game with Tua was, he had a 93-yard drive, right? And on that drive, he had a Michael Vick like run that was just spectacular. You watched him; he spun around, he got out, he looked just like Michael Vick in that pocket. The Dolphins got something special with him, man. And the way they play them, right now, the way they're rebuilding them, they finally may have a good thing with them that this offense is just a whole different dynamics for them. So I think it's good. Going into their next 4 games, y'all, they got a chance to win all the next 4 games. They got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Jets, and the Bengals. So they looking pretty good to make a playoff run.
Oh, they're already sitting at the wild card, the 7th seed right now.
Yes,
and
then after that,
7th seed.
And then after that, they got Kansas City, they got New England, they got the Raiders, and they got Buffalo. Out of those other last 4 games, you can at least get you might just squeak in 2 wins out of that.
Yes,
This team is set.
That New England one looks like
good.
a win to me right now.
Yeah,
you look like a win.
It does look like a win.
Yeah. So I mean, they're looking pretty good, man. I'm impressed with them.
All right, so that's our hot topics for the week. Things that we thought were interesting that we wanted to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into reviewing our picks from last week. We will start with the Thursday night game, the Packers at the 49ers. Packers pulled this one off 34-17. Aaron Rodgers was 25 for 31, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 1 time, compared to Nick Mullins, who was 22 for 35, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and 1 sack. Packers had decent run game. Aaron Jones, 15 carries, 58 yards. San Francisco, Jarrett McKinnon, 12 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. I'll start this one off. I picked this one right. I picked the Packers. 49ers, they're just injury ridden. If they're not injured, they're on COVID for the 49ers. So they really didn't stand a chance going into this game. And, you lose your starting quarterback and your starting running back still out. Those are hard games to win. Not to mention your defense that you really relied on has lost so many players to this point now. It wasn't a surprise to see the Packers go up, win this one 34-17. So I picked the Packers. I got it right. Aaron Rodgers is looking good like he always does. Mark, who'd you pick?
Yeah, I took the Packers in this one too. A-Rod throwing for over 300 yards. Really, the 49ers didn't wake up until like the 4th quarter until they really start scoring. And that was pretty much the garbage points at that particular time. Yeah. Packers jumped out on them early, and it was over with. It was a snooze fest from that point. But I took the Packers. Packers were victorious.
Marcus.
I also picked the Packers. I admit I wasn't expecting this big of a blowout, but Packers definitely need this win after that horrendous loss to Minnesota the week before. Like you said, Herman, it's just Sensible, just decimated by injury. They only had 55 total rushing yards, which is very abnormal for a Kyle Shanahan team. That's what they're known for, running and working off of play action. And it was just sad to go out there and see them play like that. Especially, I was surprised they weren't able to run, considering how much Dalvin Cook was able to run on the Green Bay's defense. But whatever they did during the week to the game plan and fix things up, they really fixed them up. But also, I think it was because San Francisco was running. They're like what, 3rd, 4th string running back. Yeah. So I think
they pulling people off the street.
Yeah, so I think that was the biggest thing is they weren't able to run the ball, and without being able to run the ball, there was no play action, and it was what it was. I was expecting them to win, but not like that. That was a total disaster for San Francisco.
Brian?
Yeah, I also picked the Packers on this one. And when you let Aaron Rodgers go 6 plays, 75 yards, and throw a touchdown on the first drive, you're in trouble the rest of the night. And it was trouble for the rest of the night. The Niners were never even close to even getting this game. And I mean, Kyle, he can come up with the best game plan he wants, but you just got to have those forces to be able to execute it, effectively enough to get the win. When your defense is not stopping Rodgers, I mean, he's just throwing all over the place. They're running. They're doing basically what they want. you can't expect Nick Mullins to try to keep up with that. So it wasn't much of a game. I mean, and the Packers did what they had to do.
Yeah, Devontae Adams had 173 yards on 10 receptions in the game, and Aaron Rodgers threw to like 8 different receivers. So
yeah, without their because they lost a couple of people on that defensive line, right? And I don't think Bosa's gone. Yeah, they just got nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna move into the Sunday night game, which we touched on a little bit earlier. New Orleans Saints won this one 38-3. Drew Brees was 26 for 32, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and 1 sack, compared to Tom Brady's 22 for 38, 209 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks, 3 sacks. He had a QBR rating of 3.8 and a passer rating of 40.4.
And that's out of 3.8 out of 100.
Yeah, QBR is out of 100. Yes.
Good Lord.
And as compared to Drew Brees, his QBR was 98.9. I mean, this was just a total, excuse me, total blowout. Marcus, who'd you pick?
I picked the Bucks. I was drinking that Bucks Kool-Aid. The Saints, and the week before that, they'd almost got beaten by the Bears. Sometimes you can't believe what your eyes tell you, and my eyes told me wrong. That was just a blowout. It was just terrible from the start. Tom Brady never got into a groove. Drew Brees and the Saints just walking up and down the field. And my only complaint about the game is Jameis Winston. Why are you in the camera on Drew Brees' interview at the end of the game? First of all, COVID. Why are you that close? And second of all, you ain't did nothing. So take a kneel down.
You know what? You are the worst. You are the
was
worst.
eating a
Let that man celebrate. He ain't been on a
somewhere.
winning team, man. And it was against his old team. That's why.
Take your ass somewhere and sit away. You ain't did nothing.
Man, you're an old.
Don't be interrupting a future Hall of Famers interview. They don't want to talk to you. So I picked the Bucks. I was wrong.
Yeah, I picked the Bucks on this one too. Drinking that Bucks Kool-Aid. I mean, the Saints hadn't looked good really up until this game. First game of the season, they looked good enough, but up until this game, I was questioning the Saints, and the Bucks they looked good, so I went with the Bucks and got it wrong. Mark.
Yeah, I chose the Bucks on this one too. Looked like Brady's dream team turned into a nightmare that night. They dominated in all phases of this game. 27 first downs to 13. Time possession, 40 minutes and 4 seconds compared to 19 minutes and 56 seconds. I mean, they just dominated from go in this game. Brady just looked flustered. That pressure was coming from him up the middle, and we all know he hates that. He hates seeing pressure come through straight to the middle at his knees, at his legs. But I was drinking the Bucks Kool-Aid also, and I lost this one.
Brian.
Yeah, I picked this one wrong with everybody else. I also went with the Bucks.
What are you doing?
Okay, that's
What?
it.
I mean, y'all giggling and laughing. I'm trying to see what I'm doing wrong.
Nothing.
I mean, you late coming in, then you.
No, I wasn't late. I guess I don't know. Maybe I froze up or something because I couldn't hear him all the way through. So then Herman said my name. But
okay.
the part that was sad, like Herman said, I mean the Bucks offense only put up 194 total offensive yards. 8 of it was rushing. 8 yards rushing. There's no way. There's no way you're winning an NFL game rushing for 8 yards. And then your big high guy Antonio Brown, 3 balls, 31 yards. How do you like that? And the funny thing about this game is, for some reason, initially when I looked at it, I picked the Saints. But then after I thought about it, I'm like, oh man, they got Michael Thomas and they're gonna do this and this. But I was like, man, but the Bucks are good. And I drank that hype and I changed my answer right before the show started, and picked the Bucks. But I did not anticipate this. The Saints look good.
All right. We're going to move on to our Monday Nighter. Marcus, you want to go ahead and get ready for that one?
Yeah. Can you play that music that you play for everybody else?
It's not my turn to talk. I don't do it till it's time to talk.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Can you spin it? Because I can't spin mine. Can you show me how to spin it?
Yours
Maybe
is
mine is
smooth.
broke. Mine might be broke. I don't think I'm gonna wear mine no more.
I don't never wear it,
you
You
gonna whoop it.
It's probably because you wear it so much you done broke the spinner.
I might have broken it. Look, the spinner don't do nothing. That joint will not spin.
They don't like
All
it.
right, so
don't worry, I got another one for you.
We had the Patriots taking on the Jets. The Patriots won this one. They squeaked out the win on this one, 30-27. Cam Newton was 27 for 35, 274 yards, no picks, no interceptions, and no sacks. Interesting. Had a QBR of 90.1 and a passer rating of 99.0. Joe Flacco, on the other hand, 18 for 25, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and was sacked 1 time. Had a QBR of 97.0 and a passer rating of 128.7. Leading rusher for the Patriots was Damian Harris, 14 carries, 71 yards. Frank Gore was the leading rusher for the Jets, 12 carries, 46 yards. Rashad Perryman was the leading receiver for the Jets, 5 receptions for 101 yards. And Jacoby Myers, 12 receptions, 169 yards for the Patriots. Who'd you pick in this one, Brian?
In this one, I did luckily get it right. I did pick the Pats. I actually had Cam and the Patriots defense going into Monday night in my fantasy squad, and I just needed 36 points to catch the dude and beat him. And of course, they made me sweat it out whenever Cam went down the first field and went down the first drive and scored. I'm like, okay, I'm good. But then they like Joe Flacco was like the Joe Flacco of the Ravens, throwing these damn 3 touchdowns, and my defense is just going. I'm like, what the hell? I said, what are y'all gonna give me these 30-some points so I can win this game? So I finally got the win, and the Pats got the win. It wasn't pretty, and man, if the Jets had beat the Patriots, good Lord, how would it have been on Tuesday, next day? It would have been crazy. But Cam got the win, but they need work. They need work. The offense is bad.
Mark?
Yeah, on this one, I took the Patriots also on it. But yeah, I agree with you on it, Brian. Flacco looked like the Flacco that played playoffs games with the Ravens and looked so dynamic and he was dropping dimes like perfect. The one thing Cam doesn't have enough weapons on that offense really. That running game is just running back by committee. No really true number one wide receiver, but Myers did step up this particular game. Just doesn't matter if he can stay consistent and keep it up. But the Cam, I mean, he started to show a little bit of not really going outside the game plan too much. He did a little bit. I think they had to pull him back. I think Belichick had to pull him back in for a minute, but he did enough. But man, I'm agreeing with you. If this Monday would have been wild, if the Patriots had lost this game to the Jets, it would have been wild for them. But I took the Patriots, and they were successful. They did it.
Yeah, I got this one right too. I went with the Patriots. Cam doesn't have a lot of weapons with the Patriots, and of course neither did Brady when he was there. It's funny because at the beginning of the season when they first started out, they were looking kind of good, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Patriots are robbing, and they're only paying Cam this much money, that much money." But you're starting to see the Cam that we're used to seeing again, and a part of that is because Cam really hasn't been developed as a quarterback. I don't think. When he was in Carolina, I don't feel like he was developed very well as a quarterback. So he goes to leaning on his talent and doing what he has to do to try to win games. And that ain't gonna work in the Patriots system. So of course, like you said, like Mark said, Belichick and them, they got to pull him back. But the Patriots, they're used to having Brady. So this is an adjustment for Josh McDaniels. Having Cam and it's really starting to show now that they're 3-5, they're 1-3 on the road. I still believe that Belichick is a great coach, but you can only do so much when you don't have the right talent or personnel on your team that works in your system. So I picked the Patriots. I got it right, but don't be surprised to see more close games like this and some losses we weren't expecting later on this season. All right, Marcus.
Okay, first of all, when I got to wear this hat, y'all keep our commentary short. The man be sitting there. So yeah, I picked the Jets, and I was almost right. Y'all know y'all was nervous. I was
Hey,
almost
Marcus,
right.
you was a Flacco interception and a bad penalty down in the goal line of winning that game.
I know. I picked the Jets because, like you guys say, the Patriots haven't been looking that good, and I had no reason to, and I figured the Jets, they're going to win one. They're not going to go, lossless the whole season like was it the Browns did a couple years ago. They're going to at least win one. I thought if they could win one, this would be it. And the way Joe Flacco was playing, I thought this was going to be it, man. He was just throwing them balls deep down the field. And as far as Cam not having any weapons, I'm starting to see where Bill O'Brien got his GM management school he went to. He went to the Bill Belichick management GM school because as good as a coach as Bill Belichick is, his GM skills are in question because he hasn't done anything to his draft skills suck. He hasn't really picked any good draft picks in years. You can say what you want last year about them and Brady, but at least Brady had them in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. And Cam is not Brady. And Cam can't work with what's there, and what's there is terrible. They don't have anything, and I believe that's all on Bill Belichick. He's a great coach, but like I said, I see where Bill O'Brien got his GM skills from.
Yeah, because Belichick didn't have to have anything because he had Tom.
But he did have good things. He did have good players. He would just let them go. He never kept them, and he never signed them for long term.
But he's never drafted good though. If you look at his draft picks,
he's had some good draft picks. He's had some good linebackers that they've let go.
Yeah, defensively he's drafted. He's drafted.
I mean, really, the only thing he doesn't draft well is often it's wide receivers. For the most part.
He doesn't put any stock into him. I feel like.
Right. I mean, Gronk is going to be a Hall of Famer too. Y'all forgot about Gronk.
They've been in position. They've been in position to draft some of these guys.
They have.
They just. They don't put no stock in it. Yeah.
I mean, they always trade up and wind up getting somebody early in the first round.
Yeah, but I mean, they've had like some good offensive linemen that have gotten traded over, right before he thinks that they're not going to be any good or doesn't have to pay him a whole lot of money. So he's done pretty well in the draft.
Well, they need to be worried with the Bills and Miami on his way up.
And Marcus, most of the time they're drafting 27th or 30th, 31st, 32nd. So you always drafted last in the round. So,
and that's been a consistent year. At least 5 to 6 years in a row.
Yeah, so. But first round draft picks are high. Well, at least the higher up ones. Those are your superstars.
Yeah.
Late in the first round, you should be picking somebody who's a contributor. He doesn't necessarily have to be a superstar, but he should be a contributor. So
he doesn't need to pick any contributors on the offense. So
that's the thing. He doesn't. All right. Well, let's move on to the next game, and you can just keep the hat on for this one, Marcus. Make it easy for you. The Chicago Bears.
I do the sound effects.
That was pretty
good. Chicago Bears took on the Tennessee Titans. Titans pulled this one out 24-17. Nick Foles, 36 for 52.
Say it again, Herman. Say that last.
36 for 52. Way too many yards. I mean, too many attempts. 335 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks, a QBR of 39.7, but a passer rating of 99.4. Ryan Tannehill, on the other hand, 10 for 21, 158 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks, QBR 44.5, passer rating of 104.9. Rushing, David Montgomery was the leading rusher for the Bears, 14 carries, 30 yards. Derrick Henry was the leading rusher for the Titans, 21 carries, 68 yards. I'll start this one off because the Titans is my AFC team that I'm riding on with too.
Two. I'm about to say, I'm like, what happened to Miami? You just
two. You know, all my division, my AFC division winners. I picked the Titans on this one. I got it right. I told y'all I'm not picking the Bears. I'm not picking the Bears when you have Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky, and I'm definitely not picking the Bears when you got Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky throwing 52 times.
I agree with that.
52 times. Come on, man. Come on. They scored all their points in the fourth quarter, which was garbage time, basically. Even though they made it look good, like the game was close. But, you know, I think we might have to, even though the Bears are 5-4, we need to have a discussion on if Matt Nagy should still be the Bears head coach. In my opinion, he's wasting that defense. I feel like his offense is not supporting that defense. There's no way that Nick Foles should be throwing 52 times.
Is he an offensive guy or defensive guy?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
Nagy's offensive. He's offensive.
He is. They need a run game. They don't have any type of run game. And I guess when went on IR, that Tariq Cohen, when he went on IR, that hurt him because David Montgomery's not doing anything in the run game.
Nope.
At all. You know, Derrick Henry was pedestrian for this game, actually. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry. So, but, you know, Titans pulled it out. I'm rolling with the Titans. I tell you, they're my AFC South division winners. I picked this one right. Mark?
Yeah, on this one, I took the Titans also, man. The Bears' offense is unwatchable. I don't know how, dude. I don't even know how they got the 5 games that they won, y'all. This offense is terrible.
The defense kept them in some of them. They stole it at the end.
I guess, yeah, that's the key. I don't know. Because, you know, the Titans really, they didn't run the ball real great. I mean, Derrick Henry had, you know, a couple of short runs, 60 yards. But, you know, they didn't dominate as far as the running game. And Tannehill didn't really light it up passing. He just managed the game. Yeah. But the offense just sucks for the Bears. They are terrible. I don't think I'll be taking them anymore this year. Yeah, but I took the Titans on this one, and they were successful. So,
Brian?
Yeah, I picked the Titans on this one as well. And then the other thing, Herman, that, you know, the Bears suck so bad. You think the Bears could rush the ball too? 56 yards. 56 yards in a game, in an NFL game. Not by one player, by the whole team.
Yeah.
And like you said, Herman, not only are they wasting their defense, they're wasting a great wide receiver in Allen. Allen is just being wasted over there because they're not going to be able to get the ball to him on a consistent basis. And that dude be playing his heart out. This game was crazy. The Titans were up 17 to nothing.
We talk about Allen Robinson, correct?
Allen Robinson. Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay.
Yeah. But the Titans were up 17 to nothing in the fourth quarter. And like Herman said, all the Bears points were just garbage points at the end of the game when the Titans knew they had it in hand. It is unwatchable. Foles is I don't know who's calling these plays, but you don't call 52 pass plays, okay? You just don't.
Yeah. Marcus.
And look, when I do this, I mean, hurry this damn thing along. Okay?
You know, like you said, Herman, that defense is
he done talking. My turn to go. You done too.
Y'all see the chat?
The chat say.
Damn.
He said, I just traded Brady and Fortnite for Nick Chubb. Who do you think won the trade? Ain't Nick Chubb out?
Yeah, but when Nick Chubb comes back, he's coming back this week and next week.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an awesome trade.
I think it's a good trade. If you didn't need him as a quarterback, if you didn't, what you know, my bad.
Really, Herman? There we go.
Marcus did that.
I guess YouTube TV working now.
Yeah, I guess it is.
It's working.
Yeah, I think that's a good trade. I mean, if you didn't need Brady as your quarterback, Fournette wasn't doing anything. Chubb could help you in the playoffs. So
absolutely. Good.
Oh yeah, you got Herbert.
You good. You good.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. Let's hear your.
All right, so of course I picked the Bears. I don't care what to say about Nick Foles. Nick Foles, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP. Okay, that man.
Crap.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Never.
But I mean, defense did pretty good. They managed to limit the Tennessee to 92 yards rushing, not even 100, even with Derrick Henry out there. But like you guys said, it was hard to watch. It's actually a very boring game if you're not a Tennessee fan. Tennessee pulled it out, and I picked wrong. But if I get a chance to pick the Bears, I'm against a team I think they can beat. I'm going to pick them. I thought they could beat the Titans. They didn't.
You'll be wearing a hat.
But if they end the season as a 16 team playoff game, Bears is in there. Watch right here.
You said an easy out anyway. Yes, I said it. They will be an easy out.
But Marcus gave us a tease for the picks coming up earlier. Later on.
Well, we figured.
Yeah. Sure are. All right, so let's move into last week's final game. Marcus, you can go ahead and remove the hat. You will be wearing it again next week. Remember, you just said that though, Marcus. You just said that you will be picking the Bears again.
If I think it's a team they can beat. That's what I said.
We're gonna get into this last game. The Bills, they whooped the Seattle Seahawks 44-34. Josh Allen was
Bills Mafia.
Josh Allen was 31 for 38, 415 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 7 times, a QBR of 79.3 and a passer rating of 138, compared to the MVP contender Russell Wilson. He had, he was a little off game, 28 for 41. I think that might be a little bit much for Russell to have to pass. 390 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Russ was sacked 5 times and had a QBR of 69.2 and a passer rating of 94.6.
And he had 4 turnovers by himself, did he not?
He had 2 picks. Did he have two fumbles? Yeah, he had 2 fumbles too. So yeah, Russ had a bad game. Rushing for Seattle, and this was probably a big reason that they struggled. DJ Dallas was their leading rusher with 31 rush yards. As a team, yeah, exactly. As a team, they had 56 rush yards. But on the opposite side of that, Zach Moss was the leading rusher for the Bills with 18 yards. They had 34 yards rushing. This was a pass fest game. Marcus, we'll let you start this one off. Oh, I'm sorry. DK Metcalf, real quick. 7 receptions, 108 yards receiving. Stephon Diggs, 9 receptions, 118 yards receiving. Marcus, who'd you have in this one?
I mean, this was a great game. It was NFL MVP candidate versus NFL MVP candidate. So,
I wish I could mute your mic.
Go ahead. He's spitting it. You spitting, Marcus. Go ahead.
Whatever.
I mean, it was just I wasn't expecting. I did. Did I pick the Bills to win? I picked Seattle. I picked Seattle to win.
I don't know. Look at the run. Look on the rundown.
I know. That's what I just looked at. Right.
Their defense. We've been saying all year it's bad. I mean, they just really showed how bad it was this past week. I mean, definitely wasn't expecting all that. They're still a contender. I think they'll be in the NFC Championship. But man, they got to do something. Their run defense was pretty good. They held Buffalo to 34 yards.
34 yards.
I mean, but Josh Allen, he had 31, 15 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, come on. And then with Russell turning the ball over like that 4 times, I mean, Buffalo should have won. They did win. It's just, all I can say is, whoever the defensive coordinator, they got work to do if they plan on going deep into the playoffs.
Well, anytime you turn the ball over 4 times, it's going to be, that's a hard.
But it's not like the defense hasn't been for. I mean, the only other defense worse than theirs is probably been Dallas.
Seattle's defense isn't.
Seattle's defense. Yes, it is. Yes, it's terrible.
The Jets' defense is the worst. Seattle's defense is the worst in the league. No, they don't. Seattle's is the worst.
So, yeah, Seattle.
But that's by yardage, though. That's just by yardage. Keep going.
Yardage, points per game, you name it.
Yeah, so I mean, they gotta do something. Otherwise, it would, like I said, they won't go deep in the playoffs at all. But I picked the Seahawks, and Buffalo Bills came and showed out.
Mark.
Yeah, I'm didn't drink the Buffalo Kool-Aid on this one. I took Seattle on this. Josh Allen was 31 for 38 and 415 yards. They didn't even think about running the ball this game. This was a pass happy game. For the folks who like offense and NFL, this is one of the games they enjoyed, I'm sure. I mean, Seattle really all they have right now is Russell Wilson, pretty much on offense, and whatever he creates, whatever he does, that's it. Their defense is terrible. We should see how far they make it in the playoffs too. But I didn't take the Buffalo in this one with you, Marcus. But normally I'm drinking the Buffalo Mafia.
Yeah, you the big Bills Mafia dude on here.
Yeah, I do. I have a love for them. But I took Seattle and they won it.
Okay, so Seattle's rush defense is 4th in the league.
Fourth
in the league.
What is it? Total defense.
They have their total defense. They're the second worst. They're the second to the last. Atlanta has the worst defense has the worst by total yards. They do have the worst pass defense in the league too.
Yes,
what's their points per game?
Points per game, they have they're third to worst. Dallas is worse.
They're 30.
Yeah, so they're 30. So yeah, I mean, yeah, their run defense is up there, but their pass defense and points per game, yeah, they're bad.
Well, that's just because nobody runs on them because they pass all
day. I mean, let's be real. Josh Allen was having a bad couple of weeks till he got to this point.
Yeah.
Then they do have the worst yards per game too.
It was like 4 something in like 4.
Yeah, 455.
Okay. I was gonna say.
So yeah, I picked Seattle on this one too. I was wrong. Basically everything you guys said. Russ had a bad game, and their defense sucks. When Russ doesn't have a bad game, it doesn't look this bad. He's making up a lot for a lot of the lacking in the defense.
He saves them every week.
Exactly. So I picked Seattle. I got this one wrong. MVP candidate are going to slip sometimes and lose to lesser quarterbacks. So Josh Allen got lucky this week. Brian, who'd you pick?
Yeah, Russ didn't cook this week. Russ burned up the dinner, man. I was starving. Russ burned it all up, man. Old Josh Allen, though, that new returning MVP, lit it up. Like I said already, 415 yards, baby, 3 TDs, and I don't think he threw any picks in this particular game. So, MVP ballot, you got to put that thing into Josh one right now, don't you?
No, you don't.
Yeah, because the Seahawks were down 17-0 in the first quarter.
14.
The closest the game got was 20-27, and then Allen put the gas back on and beat them 44-30.
Yeah, they were never in the game.
No, they were in the game in the fourth.
No, they were close. Like I said, they got close. In the third quarter, it was 20-27. They had a chance.
Yeah.
But Russ probably fumbled or threw another pick.
Actually, it was. I think it was 24-27, wasn't it? In the fourth.
It just sounds about right.
Third. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, it sounds about right. They got it close.
20, that was pretty close. 20-27. You're right, Brian. All right. Well, that wraps up our last week's picks. We're gonna move into.
Just real quick, how we do?
Yeah, how'd you guys do? I was 3-2.
3-2.
I think we all were 3-2. No, except for Marcus.
I think I was.
Marcus, you.
I was 1-4.
No, yeah, were you?
Yeah, I was 1-4.
Yeah, because the 2 we picked wrong, he picked wrong too. And then he picked 2 wrong on his own.
Yep.
2 that he knew he was wrong for picking.
All right, let's get into this week's game. We got our Thursday nighter, which is going to be the Colts at the Titans. Marcus, let you start this one off first.
I'm going to pick the Titans. I'm still on the Titans bandwagon. I didn't pick them last week. That should be a good game. The Colts have one of the top defenses, so it's going to be good to see how they if they can shut down.
Top defense.
Is it the top? If they can shut down Derrick Henry, it'd be great to see Derrick. After this game, we get another Derrick Henry meme of him just totally stiff arming the hell out of somebody. But I picked the Titans mainly because Phillip Rivers is on the Colts and he'll turn it over a couple times. and what's the name? Ryan Tannehill. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. He won't turn it over like Phillip Rivers will, and so the Titans are gonna win that game.
Brian.
Yeah, I agree with Marcus. I go with Titans. Vegas is making this game real close. The Titans only getting 1.5 on this one. But like Marcus said, my question is, who's going to turn the ball over the most is going to win this game. I mean, he's going to lose this game. And I think Rivers is going to give it up a couple times.
Mark?
Hey, in the last week game, Colts had held the Ravens to 0 touchdown passes, which was cool. But Derrick Henry is going to come back with a vengeance in this game. One quick note I want to talk about was, did you see last week when Rivers threw the interception and he was going to tackle the guy running back and he fell on his back? Was it me or he looked like a turtle trying to get up?
Yeah, well, I thought he was trying to trip the guy.
He just
Before he went past, but yeah.
He looked unorthodox trying to
That was called the speed bump technique of tackling. You just lay down.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. But I'm
Hey, look,
taking the
matter of
Titans
fact,
in
Mark,
this
one of your Steelers did that. Your kicker or somebody did that in the Cowboys game. He fell down on his back. And dude
we're talking
tried
about
to
the
get the.
We
Why
ain't
y'all
talking about
won?
that game.
You
Shut
should talk about it.
up. Shut up. We ain't talking about that.
Who
So
you
hey,
got?
I'm
Who you
taking the
picking?
Titans. I'm taking the Titans on it.
It's unanimous on the Titans. Y'all know I'm not picking against my Titans, so I'm rolling with the Titans, AFC South champions. Plus, Phillip Rivers, man, I don't even know why the Colts signed him. Brissett could be doing exactly what Phillip Rivers is doing this year.
Yeah, except he can run a little bit.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
can get some rushing yards.
Right, he'll get you some rushing yards.
He got into the game last week, didn't he? Didn't he get into that game?
Near the end, yeah.
Yeah.
He threw it, but he didn't look good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going with the Titans. All right. So, the next game is our Sunday nighter. Ravens at the Patriots. Mark,
Don't forget to give us records. Give us the records.
Huh?
He ain't write
6
that
and
down.
2 and 3 and 5.
6 and 2,
Oh,
3 and 5.
sorry. Yeah, I didn't put that down. Put that down.
I can tell you.
Do we? We'll never get a record of.
Yes, we do.
Mark,
Put it
Mark,
away.
Mark.
The
Look,
Pat-
Mark, when we host, we do.
Mark don't even do the rundown.
Yes,
So,
Yes,
so obviously you must be doing the rundown for him. Anyway, I'll put the records next time. Who you got, Mark?
This one, the Patriots almost lost to the Jets. I'm not picking the Patriots. I'm taking the Ravens all the way. Give me the Ravens.
I'm going with the Ravens. Enough said. Marcus, who you got?
The dynasty is over. I'm going with the Ravens. Come on, man. Like you said, Mark just said, they almost lost to the Jets. I'm going with the Ravens.
Which dynasty? They're both dynasties.
Well, not the Patriots. I mean, the Ravens. They're not really a
Yeah.
dynasty.
Well, okay.
Brian, who you got?
I agree with you guys, man. And Vegas agrees too. The Ravens are giving up a whole touchdown in this game. Give me the Ravens.
All right. Let's move on to the Monday nighter. Let's see what Marcus picks for this game. We got the Vikings at the Bears, and I don't know what their records are.
Vikings are 3 and 5. The Bears are 5 and
5 and 4.
Marcus, who you got? Who you got, Marcus?
I'm picking the Bears. Okay, Vikings suck. They're going to shut down Dalvin Cook. You better. Matter of fact, I'm telling you right now. You go ahead and put him on your bench.
You're crazy.
I'm picking the Bears. Nick Foles will come out there. Super Bowl winning MVP. Nick Foles is going to come out there and light those Vikings up against some sorry ass Captain Kirk Cousins. I'm picking the Bears.
Yeah, well, I'm rolling with the Cook. Dalvin, that is. He will run all over the Bears this week, too. I'm going with the Vikings. Brian, who you got?
Yeah, man. Dalvin Cook leads the NFL in rushing with 858 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Oh, wait, real quick, though. Sorry, Brian. He put up like 52 points for me the week that I knocked off the number 1 seed in our league. Go ahead,
Who's in
Brian.
the left-hand corner up at the top. Hey, man, but you know what Cousins' record is on Monday night?
What?
He's never won.
He
He's
is
never
0
won.
and 9. 0 and 9
Exactly.
on Monday night.
The
I agree
Bears.
with Mark. Give me the Bears.
Thank you.
Oh,
No low whoop this week. No low whoop this week.
ooh.
Mark, who you got?
Hey, man, this is a simple game plan for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, hike the ball, turn around, give the ball to Dalvin Cook. It's over with. Give me the Vikings.
There you go. All right. Can't wait for that one. All right. Then we're going to move on to one of our optional games for the week. So this should be the good one. We got the Buffalo Bills at what's their record, Brian?
They are
7 and 2.
going up against the Arizona Cardinals.
Put some respect on
5
that.
and 3.
5-3.
5-3 Cardinals. I'm changing my pick right now, and I'm gonna pick first. I'm going with Mighty Mouse and the Cardinals at home. Josh Allen will show the real Josh Allen once again
Hater.
and
You're a hater.
stink up the place. Let's go Cardinals.
You suck.
Mark, who you got?
Last week, Josh Allen threw for over 400 yards. They barely ran the ball, of course, as we talked about. Kyler Murray leads the league in yards per attempt with 7.1 and 8 rushing touchdowns. I'm going to take the little Mighty Mouse in this one, too. I'm taking the Cardinals, dude.
I would disrespect to Kyler Murray like that. Okay.
Well, that's what they call him.
Who
Yeah,
called him that? I ain't heard. Did you
We're
call
going
him
Mighty
that?
Mouse. Yeah.
He
I
is a
just
little
disrespectful name.
Why is it?
Who
Oh,
you got?
Mighty Mouse.
It's not disrespectful. Who you got, Marcus?
I'm actually picking the Cardinals, but this is going to be a hell of a game. There's going to be a lot of running quarterbacks going on. You know, NFL MVP candidate Josh Allen, he's going to get his yards, but I got much faith in the Cardinals. I got much faith in Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. They're looking good this year. I think they're definitely on the right track. So I'm picking the Cardinals.
And Brian?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Cue the music, Marcus.
What?
Really?
Cue the music. I like what Josh Allen did last week against Russ, and I think he's going to do it again against Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is shifty and he's doing some good things, but he's no Russ. So if Russ can't beat him, give me the Bills.
Cardinals have a much better defense. You sure you don't want to rethink that one?
Nope.
He is right. He
All
did a much better
Bills
defense.
Mafia, baby. Bills
All
Mafia.
right. You keep drinking that Josh Allen Kool-Aid. That stuff about to get real nasty this week.
Hey,
Drink it.
look, them rush dreams is going down the toilet too, buddy. So but seriously, we really need to talk about Kyler or some of the other quarterbacks, that might be more of an MVP candidate. But I know we done ran all over in time. So
Let's talk about that next week on next week's show. Yeah, we can
Put that whoever hosts next week. Put that in the rundown.
that would be me.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say if it was Mark, just go ahead and put that in the
Just put it in
rundown.
there.
Hey, for your information, I added 2 things in the rundown this time, okay?
Hey,
So
they
he wants to-
had Herbert. They do it at Herbert as his quarterback. I wonder who else on this panel had Herbert at a quarterback that was riding the pine.
Look, man, it was between Brady and Herbert. You don't ever sit Brady. Okay, how I know?
You actually do. Yeah, you actually do.
I didn't know. Nobody knew he was gonna go in there and do that bad.
Everybody point to Marcus.
But actually, who's starting this week?
I don't care because I beat you already. So
You know what?
all right. So the last
I'm gonna
game
get
of the last game of the week that we're
Should
gonna
be quick.
pick. Yeah, it's gonna be the Texans at the Browns. Marcus, you can start this one off.
You know I'm picking Deshaun and the Texans. Ain't even no question.
Brian, who you got?
I got the Browns.
Mark, who you got?
Wait a minute, you got the Browns.
That's right. The Browns got a way better defense.
Mark, who you got?
And what's name's coming back?
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett got 9 sacks in 8 games and 4 forced fumbles. And Nick Chubb is a key. I think is going to come back. If they can get the running game going on this one, I'm taking the Browns in this one, y'all.
I thought I was gonna lone wolf this joker. I'm going with the Browns.
What?
That's
I'm the lone wolf.
Yes, you are.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, you are.
Y'all gonna disrespect Deshaun like that?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Have you seen Deshaun's record? His disrespectful is own self.
We're talking about the Browns,
They're 2-6.
The freaking Browns.
The
They're
Browns
2-6. The Browns are 5-3, and they're coming off a bye.
Right
And
now,
before
coming off
Nick Chubb got hurt, they were running the ball real well with him.
Nick,
So
he's
he
either
comes back
back this
100%.
week or next week. Yeah, he's either
come
back
back this week
or next week.
He's come back this week.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Herman, you see what Darius said?
Yeah, he said he sits Brady every week. That's why Darius number 1 and stays at number 1 in his divisions.
He's not number one in our league.
No, he's at 2, I think 2 or 3.
Yeah,
but
he's 2. Yeah,
He's
I know.
at-
I
he's at
know,
three.
I beat him earlier this year.
I know you're not number 1 anymore.
I beat him earlier this year. Thank you very much.
Well, Mark, you're number 1, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he number one, little punk.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to knock him out of that spot this week too. Sorry, Mark. It's coming. It's coming.
Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. Get your COVID thing together, baby. I need you.
All right, y'all. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything for the week. We're gonna go out with our final thoughts. So, Mark, why don't you start us off with your final thought for this week?
Just that, I just want everybody to stay safe. Just please do what you're supposed to do and wear the mask and wash your hands and just be safe, man. That's all.
Brian.
I just wanted to wish you guys a happy day. Happy Veterans Day, man. Really appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Thank you all for everyone.
Real quick, this is my final thought. And I don't know if y'all.
Didn't you go last if you hosting?
No, because you take the show out, so you go.
Oh,
last.
that's right. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
My final thought, and I'll be the first to say I don't know all the protocols when it comes to this COVID stuff for college football, but I don't know if y'all saw this over the weekend. Trevor Lawrence, highly touted #1 draft pick.
Yes.
Everybody knows he has been placed on their COVID list, which means that you can't play for 21 days.
Which means he has COVID, right?
Well, he either has it or had
tested
close
positive.
contact. I think he tested positive at least one time. But anyway, I don't know if y'all saw him, but he was on the sidelines of the game on Saturday.
He did have on a mask, but
Yeah, he had on a mask. He was pulling it down at times, but he's on the sideline. I don't understand that at all. College football, I don't know what y'all doing. These are not professional athletes. These are kids. Why is someone who tested positive or who's in your COVID protocols on the sidelines during a game? That is the most ignorant crap I've ever seen in my life. College football, y'all need to get it together for real. For real. Marcus, what's your final thought?
Lockdown's coming back. Y'all go out there, get your toilet paper and your paper towels. I also want to give a congratulations to 2 special young ladies.
Oh, yes.
Want to give a shout out to the 5th Beatles daughter, Yasmin. She got accepted in the North Carolina A&T.
This kid. Congratulations. Congrats.
Also want to give a shout out to another young lady whose father happens to be on the panel. A great father, by the way. Brian's daughter, Sabria. She also got accepted into North Carolina A&T and Michigan State or University?
Michigan State. Michigan State
as well. So we got the ladies doing great things. So
It's here.
Congratulations.
And that's pretty much it.
All right, take us out.
Also, before we leave, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Check us out on our Facebook
if you could watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's up. I checked it. It's up.
Okay.
Check us out on Facebook, our Facebook group, The Live Game. Check us out on Twitter at The Live Game 3, and also on Instagram at the official The Live Game. So we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out.
Peace.